You don't have to believe it. Just listen and see the difference between what a Christian says and what I say. Jesus, being the most spiritual person to walk this planet, had a teaching, which he was teaching, not like any other person on this planet. I mean, yeah, Buddha, Gandhi, and all these people had their stories and scenarios of how to be and what to do and things like that. But nobody had a teaching about God, about yourself, about life, and all that, but not about God. The Egyptians, the Mayans, the Aztecs. Let's go back to the Anunnaki, if they're real. It could have been a race of people on planet Earth, which it probably was. Not alien beings and all this other stuff, but technology. What was the technology in the old days, in Atlantis, in different time frames? Well, they call them psychic abilities, and there was 32 of them. And I explored most of them. They're all real. But they are not being used today because Spirit said no. It'll get abused and it would destroy the planet instantly. If a bad person was given a psychic ability, what do you think they would do with it? If they could see through the walls and the combination safe, or they could see in somebody's house and see where the gold is, or anything like that. Or just being able to prophesize 1 minute in advance. 1 minute. Well, I know what's going to happen in 30 seconds. Go to the casino. If you know what's going to happen 30 seconds from now, you just put all your money down and you'll win. So all these people that claim, I got in debates and fights with all these kind of people. Well, you're so good, just do it. Oh, I don't want to. I said, why? You'd rather sit there smoking a cigarette and telling stories than doing something good? Get the money and build a children's home. I mean, you could convert it to become Robin Hood at least. Other than storyteller, fantasy man or lady. I'm hardcore. I'm real. I'm as honest as I can be, as real as I can be. But I deal with the truth only. If I know somebody's lying or exaggerating the truth, I'll be the number one person to say, hey, prove that in one way, any which way. How can you show that that's real? Or why is it important for us to even hear it? Well, my book, True Teachings of Jesus, is important. Because I explain simply, in an abstract way, slowly through the book, what Jesus was really teaching. And what needs to be done in life and all those things. Not what's not supposed to be done, not to make you happy, not to do this. It's not about happiness. Man, in his ego, wants happiness and excitement. Nothing else. They don't want pain, they don't want suffering, they don't want any of those other words. I mean, these people that get injected to have muscles now. Wow, you got a blown up arm, which is as weak as it was before. A big butt, but it's all blown up. I mean, you want things to look better and make people stare at you and look at you more. It's all ego. I mean, if you stood there looking in the mirror 24 hours day and night, you might want to look at something that you like looking at. But if you're not looking in the mirror at 24 hours and you're walking around the streets, you're worried about what the other people see. To me, that's crazy. What they're doing nowadays, I mean, there's some things that I think are incredible. When somebody has a breast removed and they get an implant and then they get a tattoo over and it looks real, that's incredible. But making your bust 10 times bigger, do you think you want to touch the other side of the world with them? What do you want? What do people want? Everything they can't have. Or whatever they think they couldn't have that they can get now. So, what do you think happens if somebody actually said you could have a tail? I mean, they're talking about those things now as well. All these people putting balls underneath their skin in their foreheads and things like that. There's weird things you can do to your body to alter it. And I'm talking years ago when I was in magic. I was doing magic with a partner. And we did magic shows for a couple of years. He was a little bit on the crazy side. Not that I wasn't, but when he split up with his wife, he became whether you want to believe it or not, in his own mind, he became a vampire. He moved in with this woman that was like a biker. They had fangs implanted. They bought coffins. They did the whole thing. He had a shoe store selling top name new age shoes, which were worth like $200-300 for a pair of shoes. But I know he had a serious accident, was crippled, and all kinds of things later on. But what we create, we get back, one way or another, sooner or later. So when we create this reality we're living in, look at it. Look at where we're living, what we have to deal with on a daily basis. Are you happy? Are you satisfied? Or want more money? Well, money is not the answer. We don't even have clean food. The food we eat is toxic. And then they say, well, cancer this and the cure for cancer. No, the cure for cancer is creating cancer. And they call that medicine. Everything they give you, whether it's an aspirin, a medicine pill, whatever it is, it's toxic to the body. The body's immune system is God created, meaning it's capable of destroying anything that comes inside the body. It was, until mankind decided to put 10,000 more things in there that it couldn't fight in a period of time. I mean, even native people knew whatever poisons, whatever was around, there was always a cure in nature right next to you, always. Nature keeps itself in balance, but mankind doesn't. So when these people do these things and take all these medicines and stuff, the body can't deal with it. If it's not real, how does the body know what it is? It doesn't. So I mentioned that what we ate when we were little to what we eat now, and Coca-Cola was the number one drink when I was little, and it had Coke in it. And if you took it with an aspirin, you'd be super high. And it was free, and it was in every store. So think about how you're programmed, oh, you get high, or you get this. Well, did you know how bad it was when I was little? Or you were just too brainwashed and programmed and you couldn't get out of your box to see anything going on? When I was little, everything was in full play. The word was putting somebody out. And what you did is you bend over and inhale super fast for like 30, 40 times, and then you hold your breath, and then somebody squeezes you and you pass out. And that was a cool thing. The same as glue sniffing was really big in those days. Sniffing carbona, sniffing lots of things as well, and then eating everything under the sun. I mean, if you ate a can of nutmeg, you would get high. I mean, there's all these things that people were doing to get high. They didn't need any poppy seeds or poppy flowers or anything like that. There was just everything out there to get high. Your cough medicine, if you drank it, would make you high. So now it's like, we don't want your high because we can't program you when you're in that state. You have to be in a mandatory, simple state where we can program you, then we can do what we want with you. Being high, you just do nothing. Being aware, you can't be hit either way. So what I tell people, how do you become aware? You need to learn how to. You need to work at it. You need to find techniques to work with to become that. Not just one with nothingness. You're still here. You're living in this body. It needs food, it needs action, it needs movement. So as long as you're in this body, you need to use it. If you didn't need the body, let it go. But as long as we hold on to things that we think we need and abuse the things that we use, do you think we're moving forward? Well, I said I've been in Hawaii 18 years. I lived on the other island for 6. The entertainment here is lame. The things you can do are limited. Jobs, limited. Housing, limited. What's good about it? You don't see many people if you don't want to. You don't have lots of traffic in most of the places, except Honolulu. You don't want to go there. The water. I thought the water in St. Croix, St. Thomas, Freeport, the Bahamas, even Mexico, was incredible. Crystal clear. Not like here. I mean, you go to an ocean and it looks like glass. That's incredible. I mean, so what do we have here? Supposedly the most beautiful place on the world. Well, yeah, we got mountains, we got volcanoes going off. Now, let's go into one other little thing I just want to mention, which drives me crazy. We only have a few animals here. Wild boar is overpopulated in the mountains. Realize most of Hawaii is the Big Island is around the mountain, not the mountain. The mountain is basically the army base, but all around that is the houses. And on the mountain is mountain goats, and they got thousands and thousands of them, which are destroying the mountains up there. But they also have wild boar, and they come down into the city all the time, and they try to get people to go out and kill them a couple times a year and stop them, kill them as often as you want, blah blah blah. But the only other thing, we do have a couple small deers once in a while pop up here and there, but the big thing is mongoose everywhere like squirrels. But here where I live, I think I saw more chickens, roosters, and baby chicks in the past 2 months than I did in my whole life. Every other house, they're running around in the yards and the streets and coming into my yard. If you like eggs, I guess it's a good place to go. But if you like roosters crowing half of the night, and then we got the goatee frogs. They're about a half an inch big, but they croak. And if I was out and it was raining tonight and I was doing my show near the window, you would think there was a bunch of birds chirping outside my window. They're loud. If you ever went to Puerto Rico, and I really think that's where they came from. That's when I first heard them when I was young, when I went to Puerto Rico. So yeah, they're noisy little critters, but they mass produce. They produce like 6 million in 8 years. So they're, see what they do for a living. So the few little things that are here, are they entertaining? Pigs aren't. Mongoose aren't. On the beach, they'll come up and steal your food if they can. And the other favorite pet that everybody has is a rat, right? Got lots of rats. The coconuts, they climb the trees, they make a hole in the coconut, go inside and eat it. That's how they live, a lot of them. So, that's the beautiful Hawaii. Outside of that, what's beautiful? I don't know, tell me. You hear a short time, you don't see that, you don't hear it, you don't have to go through it. Live here and you do. But we don't have businesses, we don't have a lot of stuff going on. So the money market's pretty lame. And I keep saying to myself, maybe somebody in politics will realize it in the next election. If they legalize marijuana in Hawaii, it could be the biggest money-making system for Hawaii and save Hawaii. We don't have any giant corporations, companies making tons of money here, bringing it into Hawaii. All the food that comes here is imported and expensive because they have to ship it in by boat. We get foods frozen, which shouldn't be. When we get bread from the mainland, it has to be shipped here. Bread's only good for how many days? I mean, things that are frozen, which they freeze here, because they defrost it when they sell it, which is, I would say it would be illegal. The health food stores are great for doing that. Some of the big markets do it as well. Keep it frozen and then we'll defrost it and sell it. But you freeze something and defrost it, the lifespan of it is not very long, and it already has a different taste. So, talk about crazy living. Living in Hawaii is crazy. If I knew everything I knew today, in this moment, would I have come here? No, that's like a really hard question for me to answer right now. I came here to swim with dolphins. And since the government put their boxes in the water, the dolphins don't come in around here anymore. The whales are dying, which they're not explaining why or how. There's all these little things. And now, I didn't see anything this year. Winter's coming to an end. I mean, we're moving into what? The winter again, sorry. But all summer, I didn't see one dolphin. I know in the Jersey Shore, which is probably 3 times more toxic, there were dolphins there all the time. I see fish jumping out of the water. I see things. Here I see nothing. The only time I saw flying fish I was on a boat going from Maui to